Thank you for having me. My name is Gary Coyle. I'm the Link in the Chain coordinator for the class of 1972, which is the 50th year class for all of you who are going in 2022. How many 2022ers do we have? Yeah, one Napster, right? Back there. Yeah. How many other mids do we have here? Any?
No other mids today.
Any other academy? Any other people who served in the military? Okay. The Link in the Chain is a program which started the class of 1950. To the class of 2000, presented at graduation a set of ensigns or second lieutenant's bars with the numbers of the classes engraved on them, 50-00. And since then, it has been continued by every senior class going on through us sponsoring the class of 2022. The Link in the Chain program is a voluntary program. Like all good programs at the Naval Academy, they actually have an instruction. And so you can pull that out and read it. But basically it's a voluntary program. The senior class interacts with the junior class at very specific points during the course of their 4 years. It's not the sponsor program, and we're not going to be knocking on your door, asking you out to picnics, taking you to movies, that kind of thing. It is a specific set of events which occur during the 4 years. The first of which is, painfully enough for all of you, this. A lot of my classmates have gone around the country and talked to other people who are coming into the academy, and I've talked to a couple of groups already. We'd like to welcome you and congratulate you on being selected for the class of 2022, and let you know what you're going to be seeing from the class of 72. When you arrive at the academy on the 28th, you will go into the hall, and the upperclassmen in the academy will take care of you. They'll issue you your uniforms, they'll give you your name tags, you'll get your haircuts, and everything will be set up for you to go to the swearing-in ceremony at 6 o'clock that evening in T Court. The parents are invited to a picnic and expo on Hospital Point, which is across basically from the main campus, across a footbridge, where you can see some of the things that are available in the Annapolis area. Some vendors will be there. My class will have a table there talking about a link in the chain. Some of the parents' clubs will be there talking about things. The Alumni Association will be there. So the parents will be able to get a good view of what goes on at the academy while you're getting checked in. About 1400, 1430, the superintendent will give a speech. I believe it will be in Alumni Hall. The superintendent will give a speech to you all and kind of indoctrinate you also into what's going on at the academy. Then at 1800, we'll all go over to T Court. The incoming midshipmen will stand in T Court in the sun, and all the rest of us will sit down. And this gets to the good part when you're 50 years older. Than why is this guy who looks like a used car salesman telling me about the Naval Academy? The swearing in, and this is an extremely important point that I want to make to you. This is where the Naval Academy actually ceases to be a college, ceases to be like any other school you will ever go to. You will raise your hand and you will swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That is not a lightly taken pledge. It is a pledge which is undying. So when you take that, you have to mean it. No matter what you do for the rest of your life, whether you spend 5 years in the Navy or 40 years in the Navy, like one of my classmates who retired after 42 years of service, you are sworn to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. I brought with me a few copies of a short letter written by Gideon Wells. Who knows who Gideon Wells was? Anyone? You plebes are going to find out. Gideon Wells was the Secretary of the Navy under Abraham Lincoln. He was responsible for a lot of the changes from the Navy being a sail Navy to a steam Navy, and for enforcing the blockade during the Civil War. He wrote a letter to the midshipmen entering the Naval Academy in 1863, much of which is still pertinent to people going into the academy. I brought a few copies of the excerpt from that letter that you can take a look at if you want to. I'm going to put my old man glasses on now, however, and read you just the last paragraph of that letter. And it deals with young men because at the time no young women were allowed in. I think probably, in my personal opinion, and certainly my wife's opinion, who is a retired commander in the Nurse Corps of the United States Navy, the greatest single change at the Naval Academy and the most positive was the admission of women in 1976. Especially let young men now entering the Navy impress upon their minds as a great lesson of the day that all of the duties for a faithful officer, the foremost and first, is that of fidelity to his flag, the sacred symbol of the government which has trained him in its defense and confided its honor to his keeping. Let him, as he sets foot on the threshold of the academy, form the firm resolve, living or dying, to be faithful to that great trust. Before he enters on actual service, the young officer takes a solemn oath to support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign. And this is the most important part. No human power can absolve them of that obligation. That is what the link in the chain is to me and to many of my classmates. You will not see us frequently. We will not be, as I said, knocking on your door or taking you to picnics. But there are several points during your career at the Academy we will interact with you. One of the most important to me is a ceremony called the Bonds of Gold at the end of youngster year. During that ceremony, members of my class will give their class ring to you, to your class, and you will melt those rings down and mix them with the gold that goes into your class rings. So that even though none of us will be on watch by the end of yours, when you stand like me in front of the class of 2072 and say the same things to them, that the continuation of the chain, the continuation of the links that go on through the Naval Academy will be followed. And never will any class be left behind. I welcome you aboard as shipmates, and if you have any questions, I will be available here or on I-Day on Hospital Point. Thank you very much.